Welcome to PAXO. In this video, we introduce you to PAXO Smartsticks and show you how to add these cool thumbsticks to your Dualsense controller. To exchange the conventional thumbsticks with your PAXO Smartsticks, it's best to have all the parts from your set and your tools ready for the replacement of the thumbsticks. Your PS5 controller, the spudger, the white clamps, the Phillips screwdriver, a bowl or plate for the small screws, a strip of scotch tape about 6 cm, and of course, the new PAXO Smartsticks with the caps of your choice. Let's go! First, please make sure that the controller is completely shut down and turned off. The easiest way to do this is to hold down the PlayStation button for a good 10 seconds until the LEDs on the controller go out. The new PS5 controller is held together by 4 hidden screws. To get to them, you first have to carefully remove the black cover. Start with the spudger at the lower right end of the cover, insert its corner between the black and white plastic, and snap open the black end. Then carefully drive along the edges towards the center to completely peel off the cover. Finally, you can carefully remove the cover. You will need to gently pull the small black tips facing forward out from under the touchpad. Please be careful not to get caught on the thumbsticks. Next, you'll need to remove the L1 and R1 keys so you can get to all the screws. Insert the flat end of the spudger into the gap between the L1 and L2 button, covering the L1 button with one of your fingers so it doesn't accidentally shoot you across the room when it comes loose. Then gently pry the button out from below. Now the small screws become visible. To remove them, take the Phillips screwdriver and unscrew all 4 screws. You'll find the first 2 screws where you just removed the L1 and R1 buttons. The other 2 are located at the lower end of the controller. It's best to put the little screws in the bowl provided so that you don't lose them. Perhaps a pair of tweezers or pointed pliers will help you to grip the screws securely. Attention! Do not try to open the lower controller lid with force. It is still held in place with 2 small plastic hooks. Now take the small white clips and poke the tip flat into the corner next to the clip. Then turn the clasp by 90 degrees so that the clips are bent open. Once both clips are released, you can carefully lift and remove the bottom cover of your controller. The easiest way to do this is to bend the lower ends of the controller apart. Once the controller is open, you see the battery. It's directly in the center and it's connected to the board on the right side with 3 smaller cables. Now you have to disconnect the plug at the end of the cables from the board. First, take out the battery and put it in the palm of your right hand. With a bit of wiggling and a strong pull, the plug will come off. Please proceed carefully. Take a good look at how the individual parts belong together so that the assembly will be easy for you later. First, take a look at the lower microphone. It is in a small black silicone socket. It is connected to the left side of the board with a foil cable. First, remove the small screw at the bottom right of the battery tray and put it with the other screws. Now take a short strip of scotch tape and stick it to the bottom center of the battery tray and over the microphone so that it protrudes about 2 cm at the bottom. Now hold your right thumb on the tape and the microphone and lift the plastic shell from above with your fingers. When you have the battery tray and the microphone securely in your hand, you can pull the foil cable of the microphone out of the connector. Finally, fold the tape around the bottom of the battery tray to secure the microphone. The motherboard is now still connected on all 4 sides with foil cables. All these cables have a small fixed tab where you can grab them and pull them out of the socket. Carefully disconnect all 4 cables to free the motherboard. Now you have to be careful again. The thin red and black cables on the right and left side of the PCB are soldered. You must not damage them when you fold out the motherboard. The loudspeaker is located underneath the mainboard. It is actually a bit loose and should not get lost. Place your controller straight in front of you. Grasp the motherboard with your thumb and forefinger firmly in the middle at the black plastic part at the bottom and the USB socket at the top. Hold the controller housing with your other hand and pull the board upwards with a little wiggle until the thumbsticks come through the holes of the housing. Then flip the board down and place it on the table. If you were careful, the speaker should not have slipped. The speaker is centered in the case with the black rubber bumper facing up. Now it's time to throw out the old thumbsticks and put in your new SmartSticks. Press the circuit board firmly on the table with 2 fingers. Grab a thumbstick with your thumb and index finger. Pull up strongly until the thumbstick is released. Do this with both of them. Watch out! The silicone caps should not yet be mounted on the SmartSticks when you insert them now. If you want to play with 2 SmartSticks of different heights, make sure that the controller is upside down in front of you. Right and left are therefore reversed. Now press the PAXO Smartsticks onto the axis stick controllers. Be careful to press very vertically, so that the axis does not suddenly tip away. You have already completed the actual installation. Now it's time to start to reassemble your controller. First, make sure that the speaker is still in its correct position. Now carefully fold the motherboard back into your controller. Since the controller is lying on the table, the heads of the thumbsticks won't slip through the holes in the case just yet. That's actually really good, because you can free the cables all around the board first. Pay attention to the thin red and black cables. They are only soldered on and can easily be torn off if you move them too much or pull on them. Once all the cables are free, the board and your new PAXO Smartsticks should be easy to get back into the right position. When plugging back in the foil cables, start with the small one at the bottom. Ensure that the cable hangs correctly in the small white hook before you plug it in. It's best to hold the controller from the bottom using your left hand and push the cable into position with your thumb. The larger cables on the right, left and top can then be plugged in quite easily. The next step is to put the black battery tray back into the controller. First, loosen the tape only on the lower side and hold the microphone in place with your finger. Now you can reattach the shell with a small screw. To be able to plug in the foil cable of the microphone again, you have to remove the tape completely. Make sure that the microphone and the silicone holder do not slip and that the right side of the foil cable continues to be stuck under the small black bridge. You can now reassemble your Dualsense in reverse order. Once you have put the lower housing shell back on, you should first try out your controller to see that everything works again. Only then screw it back on completely. As a last step, you can now put on your preferred SmartStick-Caps. Done! The caps are super tight on the PAXO Smartsticks, but you can easily pull them off if you want to play other ones, or just to run them under the tab to make them like new again. If you have any questions or comments, get in touch. We'll be happy to help. Have fun gaming! Your PAXO team.